At Purdue University, actually as early as 2006, scientists have been noting changes in the decay rates of numerous nuclear particles. For those of you who don't know, that we have actually quantified a very steady and consistent and reliable data on what are known as the half-lives of nuclear particle, right down to nanometers, which is a billionth of a meter and a billionth of a second scale. They've even got it down to the femto level, which is a quadrillionth of a second scale, and of course a quadrillionth of a meter scale. So they know that this is consistent formula. You don't normally see changes in these decay rates. And what's amazing now is since 2006, scientists at Purdue University have been studying during different cycles of the sun and the Earth traveling around the sun once per year. They're seeing changes as great as 0.1% in some of these radionuclide particles, which is unheard of. In fact, there's no way to explain this as far as they can see, and it shouldn't be happening because this is one of the only known constants next to the speed of light constants that scientists are aware of. Everything else in the quantum scale and subatomic particles is changing all the time. In fact, particles are constantly changing into other particles all the time. So there is no such thing as a stable particle on the quantum scale, looking at the atom and smaller. But here's where this story gets really interesting, William. When a nuclear particle's decay rate, it speeds up, it means it's radiating more, not less energy. So all of the particles in our bodies and the Earth are, due to this new change of the sun, are radiating a little bit more energy, not less than they were before. And we know that studies done on human DNA, that very, very weak changes in electromagnetic fields can cause profound changes, for example, in fish, where the eggs of the fish in a laboratory were exposed to fields 10 times weaker than Earth's magnetic field, and suddenly their offspring are born with what are known as phenotype changes, which means observable changes that are caused at the DNA level. And they're beautiful. The changes on the fish in this particular experiment where rainbow stripes suddenly appeared on all the new offspring. So the question is, what's going on in the sun? There's no doubt because children, and I just have a brand new little daughter who's 6 months old right now, and amazing things are happening with her. Because their DNA is in a rapid growth phase, they are going to receive more of this change than we are. You know, I'm almost 50 years old, so I'm not going to get as much of it as she is because she's in a rapid growth phase. Scientists have clearly measured that consciousness clearly can pass through an amplitude of solid mountains and matter like they aren't even there. I'm excited about this because I want to know if it's intelligent consciousness that is doing this. And as the Purdue scientists are saying, there is a new particle possibly responsible for this being born out of the sun. So if there's a new particle being created, and that's what's responsible for this, these Purdue scientists are saying, it's going to change everything. It means the creation is making a new particle. And that new particle will have new properties and cause abilities in humans and all living things that ingest it and eventually are affected by it. People are realizing that they have all of the power. What's amazing, if it's consciousness that's changing the decay rate in the subatomic particles, which I say it is, because that's the only force that has been measured to pass right through solid wall. And it's the only force that could explain how whatever is happening on the sun is going all the way through the Earth, and not being blocked like radio waves would be, and even the weak nuclear force would be blocked as well. Then, whatever this consciousness is, it has to be an enormous, great being that is emanating this field of intelligence. So, what's happening is, if the sun, this is kind of brilliant, is raising the decay rate of these nuclear particles, which includes everything in our body, then we're all slightly a little more energetic. We're emitting a little bit more energy than we used to.
DNA is not a random effect. It's so complex, it's like the entire Encyclopedia Britannica's contents, caused by dropping a series of individual letters from the sky, and all those letters arranging themselves into a full encyclopedia of text. That's how ridiculous it is to think that DNA could have formed naturally. We are dealing with a galactic energy field. It's a full halo expanding energy field that goes through the entire galaxy, and when it reaches us, it causes changes in our solar system, it causes activation of our DNA molecule, and that, my friends, is what's causing these 65 million year cycles and 26 million year cycles of species evolution in the fossil record.
And so where it relates to the 2012 discussion is that we are experiencing an interplanetary climate change at this time. What's happening on the Earth is, with global warming, is just one function of a function that's occurring throughout the solar system. We know and can prove that the historical record of evolution occurs in sudden spurts. There's a 62 million year cycle and a 26 million year cycle. All the creatures on the Earth spontaneously metamorphosize in 1 or 2 generations into a whole new species. So it appears that that's what's happening to our planet right now, because basically we're moving into a zone of unconditional love. And when we get there, there is a frequency shift that actually transmutes all physical matter on the planet and biological life. The blueprint of the DNA is energetic, and the DNA is just sort of like a jigsaw puzzle that can be assembled and reassembled in different configurations based on the energy that's coming in.
I just want to point out to you that this is real, that the fossil record is not Darwinian evolution. Darwinian evolution cannot explain sudden leaps in the way that species look, because there's no gradual evidence of how they went from one form to another of any real substance.
So what's happening is our fourth dimensional body is becoming the active body, not just for ourselves, but for the whole planet, because the planet is also a living organism that is moving into a higher energetic frequency. So we're moving together with the planet into this new frequency. Now, it is true that we could basically rematerialize our physical body if we want to. The Law of One says that it would require us to focus on a rather difficult mental configuration. But the fact is, we are essentially transmuting the physical body. You bring it with you, and that energy that had made your body is part of what feeds into the light body. Anytime you wanted to bring your physical body back, you could. All you have to do is focus. But the energy body, the fourth dimensional body, is a lot cooler than the third dimensional body. Because in this body, you can levitate yourself, you can travel throughout linear time, you can do instantaneous healing, instantaneous telepathic communication. It just goes on and on and on. There's just a phenomenal amount of things that you can do after this ascension happens.